The Houston Texans did not play up to standards. And that's one thing that the Texans preached throughout summer training camp, and you hear from CJ Stroud and others on the team. The Texans did not play up to their standards throughout the game with the Panthers. Stroud went out. He did what he can do, but ultimately he didn't make the throws that he needed to make. The offense was stagnant. Damian Pierce was not able to get those runs that we needed. Slowly leaned on the run so much that it kind of had you questioning why we keep running so early in the down. I think that I saw a couple of podcasts that said that we have the second to last running percentage in the early downs. And that's one of the things that we need to improve. In my opinion, the Texans just did not play up to their standards. Like, you can't blame the line. You can't blame anybody else for not playing up to your own standards, right? It is something that we have to look forward to, look into, and improve on. The no roster moves at the trade deadline. I do agree with the methodology there. Casario, they say they picked who they picked, and they're going to ride out through this year. There's no point in giving up those extra picks or giving up a huge amount of money for a player who is, on the latter end of their career or might not just fit the system and culture that they're trying to have with the Texans. Is that a good tactic? Was it a good tactic? I do agree with that one. I mean, there were some nice players out there, but the cost to the team financially and cost to the culture may have been impacted. They're trying to build something new here, and you can't afford to go out on a limb with a player who might not produce, who might be latter part of their career and may be injury prone. I say stick with what we have. We're building a solid foundation and continue to build as we go forward throughout the season and into next year. It's hard to mention playoffs this year with what's going on. I still think we're in a foundational building year. So although we did have a good win streak, we are overachieving to a certain extent. So I just look forward to the Texans building on the foundation that they do have, and I'm okay without the roster moves for the trade deadline. Going on, Slowick still finding his tempo. I don't mind what Slowick is doing as far as the Texans offense is concerned, but I do think that he is pushing the run game a little too early. And what I mean by that is we're forcing a run game that honestly is not good. It's not working. Everybody can see it, but it's still trying to be a run first offense, similar to that 49ers kind of Shanahan offense that they did have over there. But we don't have a CMAC. We don't have the line that they have. So is it truly needed to be a run first offense? And that's something that I don't think we necessarily have to do that to be successful. I would like to put the ball in CJ's hands more and let him go out. What do we have to lose? Especially when we need to gain the explosive plays to keep our defense off the field. You can't be mad at what the defense is doing. That's for sure. The defense is going out there. They're putting up the stops early in the game. We do need to put those stops together in the latter part of the game, but we cannot be mad at what the defense is doing and how they're playing. D'Amico has them hitting on all cylinders with a swarm mentality. And I, for one, do not mind what's going on with the defensive side of the balls, especially considering the injuries that we have had. That could have been assisted by some roster moves that we previously discussed, but I am okay with what they're doing on the defensive side of the ball. I just feel like Stoic needs to find his way, find his tempo. If it's not the run early, then don't run early. Let's go ahead and let CJ make those longer mid-range passes and open up the explosive passes. We have receivers who can get loose and show you they can they can run after contact. They can get into the open field. So Slowick still finding his tempo, and I don't believe that running the ball early is necessarily the answer right now. But looking forward to this week, we have Tampa Bay looking to bounce back. Tampa Bay does have some key pieces that kind of go against the Texans. The Texans are not the best when it comes to these big, huge receivers with Evans out there. And Baker Mayfield has the ability to get the ball into their hands. They've fallen short for the past 3 weeks, but the Texans game will be a good chance for them to show that they still have some life in them and see what Bowles can do for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, they do have a few injured key pieces, but that does not outweigh the Texans' injury list. And we look to see who will be on the field on Sunday. The Texans have a pretty extensive list. We've been dealing with a ton of injuries as of late, and that's just been the story of the Texans. But hopefully, we can bounce back and play them well. I do see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers having a bounce back game against the Texans, and it will be up to CJ Stroud, Slowick calling a good offense, and our line just putting together a good game plan to kind of combat that upswing, because I see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers having success on offense against our defense. They're due for it. They're ready. They're excited, and we should see. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game. So, without further ado, like, share, follow us on Facebook. This is Sports Social Live. This is my first podcast, first stream. I plan to do one every day from wherever I am, anywhere I am. You see, I'm in the room right now. I might be on the road, but Sports Social Live, we're here to stay. I'm going to do something every day. Like, follow, subscribe, drop some comments below. I love to debate. I love to talk football, and I love all things Texans. Have a good day. Thank you.